Do you feel like you're in survival mode? Do you feel like you're just working so hard as a real estate agent to keep your head above water? And you're wondering, is there a way for me to actually get ahead? Is there a way for me to not feel like I'm drowning or I'm suffocating? Because as we all know, interest rates aren't quite what we'd like them to be. The inventory isn't quite what we like it to be. Well, today we're going to walk you through a path by which you can begin to think bigger regardless of your circumstances. You'll begin to realize that the most successful real estate agents in the world also have headwinds. They also feel at times like you're feeling right now. And we're going to share with you expertise from somebody who's very near and dear to my heart on how you can begin to think bigger and begin to actually think about having a legacy when maybe at this point in your life and your career, it may be the furthest thing from your mind. Stay with us. This is going to be a great episode that's going to change the way that you think about your business and your life. So the big question is this: how do those of us in the real estate industry who have crazy amounts of ambition, how do we think bigger than the building of our own empires? How do we create success and significance, income and impact? My name is Justin Stoddard. This is my co-host Stephanie Peck. And together we bring you the Think Bigger Real Estate Podcast. All right, welcome back, everybody. I am so excited to introduce, first and foremost, my lovely co-host, Stephanie Peck. Stephanie, how are you?
Hello, doing great. I have a feeling today is going to be bringing out all the feelings.
You got that right. I'm so excited to introduce, for those who maybe know me very, very well, may recognize this incredible man here. For others, allow me to introduce one of my dearest friends and greatest mentors, Coach George Crace. Coach Crace, so good to have you here on the Think Bigger Real Estate Podcast.
It's great to be here with you, Justin, and meeting Stephanie. Looking forward to this time that we're going to spend together today, and hopefully it'll be fruitful for many people.
Let me paint a picture for the listeners of the audience as to why this man was so impactful for me. I was a junior in high school, and my team in another city had just won the state championship game, and my parents came to me and said, "We're moving." Now, this is halfway through my junior year. I'm having to move to a new town entirely. And I was setting up for my senior year, like we were going to win the state championship again. And it was like, wait, what? We're moving? And they introduced me to this man, and he was the saving grace for me at the time. He became a dear friend because, by the way, you don't just make friends right away when you're a junior in high school. He became somebody who I not only respected, but that I to this day admire deeply. His background: he graduated from with a degree in psychology. Cum laude from Harvard, his graduate degrees at Stanford, has coached both at the high school level all the way to the state championship, and now also at the collegiate level. So he has coached more people than he nor I can probably count, and impacted just as many. So with that today, again, our topic today is going to be changing your mindset to think bigger, changing your mindset from survival all the way to success, significance, and leaving a legacy. And so, Coach, let's dive right in. I know that at this time, as I mentioned in the opening, that the real estate market for some has been very tough. It's been very challenging, and for many, they feel like they're underwater and they're struggling to get ahead. And there's almost a hope or a lack of hope that things are going to get better anytime soon. What would you say to somebody who's very much living in survival mode to help shake them up and get them out of that, to even believe that there is and will be brighter days on the horizon?
Well, you mentioned the word hope, and I think that's where it all starts with. And without hope, it's very hard to get out of bed in the morning and do any work. And so one of the organizations I've worked with as a football coach is called three-dimensional coaching. And the three-dimensional coaching refers to a physical set of things that you can do, a mindset, and then also a heart set. And so I would say hope is directly related to your heart set. And so you have to take a look, go deep, what's really at the core of your being in your heart. And we as coaches always love to coach athletes that have great heart. And we always had a statement that said, when a coach puts a tape measure on you, very few of them measure your heart. They measure your speed, your height, your size, your weight, your strength, all those things. And I would imagine in the real estate market, there's certain skills that you use that you measure and you train. But is there a way to get at the heart of the people that you're working with? And I know Stephanie has a team that she works with, and Justin, you do too. And so one of the things that I always do with my team, I coach about 7 or 8 guys a year right now in the game of football. What I always do is I end our group with a countdown. You know, in the old days, Justin, we used to go count up, ready, 1, 2, 3, and everybody would yell something like, you know, Wildcats, because we were the Wildcats. And now what I do is I count down 3, 2, and then when we get to the 1, everybody goes, 1 heart, but they yell it. And I don't want to yell it on the podcast, but 3, 2, 1 heart. And that's how we leave the practice. And then at the beginning of the practice, what I do is I will interview the guys, and I'll be basically asking them, tell me where you're at on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you at physically? Well, coach, I'm sore today. I'm like a 5. 10's the best. And he said, okay, well, then where are you at mentally? Well, let's see. I guess I'm up for practice today, you know, so mentally I'm dialed in. I'm at an 8. And then I hit him with this question. So where's your heart? Scale of 1 to 10. And when you start to scale out, and I know in the level of coaching that I do with other people, it's always good to quantify, because it really causes a person to pause and reflect. So, for example, if I were to ask you and Stephanie today, where are you at physically, mentally, and in heart set, you know, do you total out to a 30? Some people say I'm at an 11, which is one above a 10. So that would be a 33. If you're down and you're in a, you know, I'm a 5, 5, and 5 person today, 15. I'm kind of in the middle of everything. All right. So the question then becomes, how do we move you from a 15 to a 16? How do we move you from a 25 to a 27? And so we're starting to ask the questions that allow you to develop some hope that I can make progress. I can move forward in these 3 dimensions.
Boy, what a profound answer. I shouldn't have expected anything less. Stephanie, what shows up for you, right? I mean, again, you're extremely successful, both in business and in life. And yet probably there's times where you don't feel like you're a 30, right? In all those areas of life. How does this help, would you say, even the successful real estate agents who maybe at times feel like they're in survival mode, even on a particular transaction, right? It's like, oh my goodness, this is just killing me, right? How does what coach just taught us there, how can you apply that to whether inspire yourself and or even your kids or teammates on how to kind of think a little bit bigger?
You know, I really like that we're looking at ourselves in those 3 categories, because it can feel like we're winning sometimes because we're saying, you know, oh, I just got that listing, or I beat out multiple offers. I am winning. But if we're not winning in our heart, or we're not winning physically, then that win can feel just so fleeting. It's short-lived. It's a short win. And as soon as that win is gone, our significance is lost. So it's a great concept to be checking in on all 3 of those things, and almost like building our identity around that, not building our identity on that quick win. You know, I got the offer accepted, or we closed a deal today. I'm winning. I'm at a 30, because that goes away so fast. And then that's where we're left as, you know, as a top producing agent, that's where we can be left feeling deflated and like we're starting all over again.
Yeah, boy, that's an interesting way to look at it, isn't it? Is that you can have these highs and lows if it's tied to only what's on the exterior, right? Which is this metric that is how many homes have I sold, that can flow. But what I hear you coaching, coach, is this concept of looking deeper than that, not like how many yards do I have this game, right? But how am I feeling, right? How's my heart? How's my you know, how are all the different areas of my life?
Well, you know, the measurement of a person can't be taken just from their physical output. Okay. Who you are, and this is my belief, this is where you have to go inside and say, who do I believe myself to be? And Stephanie mentioned it. You know, if your identity is tied to your job, whoa, you're going to have some struggles, because I've had several jobs during the course of my life since graduating from college. But one of the things that's been with me since then is an ongoing question that is, what is my ultimate goal in life to be? What is my true intention? Where do I see myself going? And so looking ahead to the future is created by what you do today, because the future will show up tomorrow, but today is the only thing that you have to work with. So by choosing to give a total release of yourself, okay, so we're talking about body, mind, and spirit today, it will show up tomorrow. And the one thing I do know for sure, yesterday ended at 12 midnight. So today is a new day. And again, I go back to, where am I at? What do I want to accomplish? What is my intention for today? And then can I just give it my best shot today with having the faith and having the hope and having the love that's deep in my heart? Then I will have a super day. And who knows what's going to happen during the course of the day. You know, you will meet people you never met before. I've never met Stephanie before. So a word, a smile, just a word of encouragement can change a person's life that day. And I know that you've talked about success to significance. The next aspect of it is getting to legacy, because every day you are creating your legacy, whether you believe it or not. And either you intentionally create your legacy, or your legacy is getting created by something else. But at the end of the dash, and there's a great poem that was written called The Dash. And that's that little spot between born this day and then passed away the next period of time. So everybody's dash is different in length. But at the end of the dash, you know, what can you say that you have intentionally brought forth during the course of your life? And that's, I think, a mindset and a heart set that if you adopt and make it a habit, then you can stack day after day moving towards the end goal, which is, my opinion, legacy. I've been blessed. I'm now going to be 74 years old in maybe 2 weeks from now, July 13. And we're here on the 24th, is it, of 2024. So 74 years, my legacy has been set by 74 years of whatever has happened in my life and whatever I've impacted with others in my life.
You know, something that what showed up for me, Coach, when you were talking about this, is that I think all too often on the days where I'm not my best, it's either because I'm living in the past with regrets of what I haven't done or didn't do or did do, or I'm living in the future of things that are maybe anxieties of potential pitfalls that could happen. And what I heard you tell us is that the power belongs in recognizing that tomorrow will be created by the activity I do today. And
Yes.
if I focus on what I can do right now to make the most intelligent moves, the most impactful moves, that will create the best tomorrow. Is that
Yeah,
safe to
you're right
say?
on, spot on. Yeah. And having a morning start to your day, that you've developed good habits in the morning start, get you off and get you going. And there's various ways that you can do that. There's various routines that you can create for yourself, but it's the consistency that makes things happen. And I just encourage your audience to take a look at creating the perfect start for themselves that really gets their mind, their heart, and their body going. And good things will happen.
What I hear from that, and Stephanie, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well, is that we can't control necessarily everything that happens during the day, but we can control what our morning routine looks like. We can control the fact that we get up, we connect with God, we connect with our loved ones, we have good exercise, like good physical habits of movement, and things that inspire us. When we start with those things in mind and we have control over that, it sets the foundation to allow us to really then have the most amount of influence upon what happens in the rest of the day, right? Stephanie, what are your thoughts on that when you think about how your day starts?
Well, you're right. It's the one thing that we can control before all of the other things start to try and control our day and control our outcome. Because in the quiet of the morning, there are no interruptions. I can choose. I can choose to check my email at 6 a.m. or I can choose to put on my shoes and go work out, because no one is expecting a response at 6 a.m. But if I'm choosing to do that at the lunch hour, people are expecting a response. People are expecting me to show up for them. So I can control the times that the expectation is only on me. I mean, that's what's standing out to me right now is when are the times that I'm expected to show up for myself versus when are the times that I'm expected to show up for others.
Very good. Coach, no, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Sure. I was going to say that you set the tone in the morning. You have, the ability to have, this is my intention. These are my goals that I want to accomplish. I have bigger goals, but these are on my way to those bigger goals. These are my to-dos. But then what happens is you get interrupted. And in today's society, you're interrupted a lot because of a thing called a cell phone, push notices coming to you. And anybody that you have on your cell phone can contact you. And even if they're not on your cell phone, they can look you up and contact you. So there's a formula that I've been working on, Justin, even before I met you when I was coaching at another high school. And a lady came in and talked to us about this in a PTA meeting of all things. So I went to the PTA meeting that night, and I've learned this formula. It's called E+R=O. It's not a unique formula. It's been around, like I say, probably for 40, 50 years. But the E stands for the event. And as you leave your house or you start to go to your office or you pick up your phone to do business, events start to happen. And there can be, hey, I'm not buying the house that you and I just spent time with. Wow. And that's already happening at 8:01 this morning. So the event happens. And then what comes next, and this is from my study in psychology, is a reaction. And I used to do this when I was teaching psychology class. At some point in the class, I would just scream as loud as I could. And then you'd watch the kids react. Usually I'd wait while they're not paying attention to anything I'm doing. And then bang, all of a sudden you get that reaction and eyes are popping open and they're looking, what's happening? My teacher's going crazy in class. So the reaction happens. But then here's where the wisdom comes in. Can you turn your reaction into an intentional, chosen response? So if you can visualize the capital letter R, if I'm diagramming it, it's got a circle on the top and a straight leg and then another leg that comes off of it. And in between the straight leg and the other leg is reaction, response. So it looks kind of like this, straight and like there. Well, that leaves a gap right inside there. What I do in that gap makes all the difference because my response then will influence the outcome. So when someone tells me, hey, we're not going ahead with that sale, we found another realtor. What do you do at that point in time? And you can train yourself to respond in a way that will produce a better outcome, if not that day, a better outcome in the future. A better outcome where that client says to somebody else, well, I had to go with this other realtor for whatever reason, but gosh, I really like Stephanie Peck. And, when I told her, she was able to handle that like a professional. I felt really good, so much so that I'm giving you this referral. And, if I get a chance, I'm going to certainly go back with her and check on real estate purchases in the future. So E+R=O. Now, I've been teaching this for umpteen years. I guess this is my 49th season of coaching football. And very few of my players, when I check back with them 20 years later, remember E+R=O. They'll remember, hey, I got a reaction. I need to change my response, and I can do that. So what I tried to do is come up with a way to make it more memorable. So if you put an H in front of E-R-O, what does it spell?
Hero.
You can remember that concept.
Mhm.
So I want you to be hero or heroic, if you will. The H stands for the state of your heart. So if the state of your heart is good, then no matter what the event happens, we know you're going to have the reaction, but because of the state of your heart, which you led with in the morning as you were getting into that heart set, then you have a chance of influence a better outcome. And of course, outcomes all become events again, and the cycle continues all throughout the day. Then at the end of the day, you can, do a little scorecard with yourself. How did I react? How did I respond? What does it look like the outcome? And then remind yourself that that day will end at 12 midnight and you'll get another opportunity the next day. H plus E plus R equals O.
Stephanie, how does this help you, whether it be in your most important role of being a mom or in your next very important role of being a leader of great real estate agents? Do you see some application here for you? I'd love to hear your thoughts because that was really insightful for me.
Yeah, I knew this one was going to get me. Yeah, I mean, we're, in my team and in my business right now, and I'm always transparent. I know that just like in sports, I mean, what we see on TV is the game and we see the win. And I know that I am giving an image of a lot of wins. And I also, as a real estate agent, have a lot of losses, and we're dealing with some of those right now. One thing that my husband is always saying to our teenage son, who's an athlete, is you never lose, you always learn. And I'm having to remind myself of that right now, and remind myself that, I'm not just here for that transaction. That, if I lost that one, they're terminating or they're going with another real estate agent, that's okay. I have an opportunity to learn and to grow, because I'm not just here for that transaction. I'm here for the long run. I'm looking for that championship ring. And every team's going to lose some games, and every player is going to miss some shots during practice, and we have to keep going. And Hero's going to stand out to me now. And I think that as we're really talking about the mindset around our business, it's asking ourselves, where is my heart in this? Because I actually had to reset my mind and say, maybe there's somebody else that's better for that client right now. That's hard. That's hard to say, because I like to think that I'm the best, but maybe not the best for everyone. And also seeing, maybe that real estate agent that got that business over me, she's a single mom on the brink of giving up. And this was the thing that was going to keep her in business. So that is more important, because I'm here for the long run, not just for that one transaction.
That's thinking big right there, Stephanie.
It's hard. I'm appreciating the reminders, Coach.
What stands out to me is that at any moment, whether at this moment you find yourself on the survival side of the spectrum or all the way on I'm leaving a legacy, is we are always faced with new opportunities to apply what was just said there. And you can quickly move yourself up that spectrum or down that spectrum, depending upon how you respond, how you react, how you respond in that moment. And it comes down to, I think, going back to what you said, Coach, at the very beginning, if you can create a good foundation of good habits that put your mind in the right spot. I've even become a fan of having a journal, right? Which allows me at the very beginning of the day to review my goals and even write them out.
Mm-hmm.
Then at the end of the day, go back and review. Did my day actually reflect the fact that I had set out these intentions? And not in a judgmental form, but just checking in on myself, that I add so much more intentionality into my life and my business. And I feel so much more empowered that it keeps me out of that mode of feeling like I'm drowning, right? Because I'm in control, right? I've got the reins, and I can actually move this thing in the direction that's positive for me, as opposed to just being, subject to whatever the circumstances are at that particular time, which I think is the most hope draining feeling, is that like I'm in a bad spot and I don't have any influence over it. right? That like
Yeah.
tomorrow's not better than today. That's where it starts to feel overwhelming. But when you're like, no, I can take small actions to move myself forward. Now all of a sudden, hope is back, and you're re-empowered to take life and business, whatever it may be at that particular time, to the next level. Again, at whatever score you're at, it's the next step forward.
You know, the greatest power, Justin, that I think all of us share is the power to choose. And we forget that, I spent 2 years part-time working in a psychiatric hospital. And the thing that I saw prevalent in that hospital was that people forgot their power to choose. And, some of them had obviously brain disorder functions that needed to be balanced out, but so many of them were in clinical depression, and they were not empowered. They had lost their agency. And, our goal was to try to give them some sense that they can choose certain things and then build upon that. But I got out of that because I found that for me, it was more empowering to work with young people like you. And Justin, when you came into our school and you'd left a championship program, then obviously you knew some of these skills. They had already been instilled in you through your previous coaches and players. And so that's why I asked you to model that for our team. And we didn't win any games that year, did we?
Yeah, we did. Not as many as I did the year before. We were undefeated.
For sure.
Yeah, but we won a few. We were 3-8. Just so
Okay.
everybody knows how painful it was going from 13-0 to 3-8. But this man made it easier for me.
Yeah, well, we were 0-8 the year before. I think we didn't win a game. That was the first year for that high school, and then we ended with that high school with a perfect season, 13-0, and it just took time to do that. And so every day you're putting into place these habits, and you're stacking success upon success, and then you take steps forward, and then some things drive you backwards. But again, what is your attitude? I wanted to share with both of you a formula that I picked up in this Choose to Win course that I'm promoting, that A times E times S equals P. Now, this is not a magical formula. Let me break it down for you really quickly. A is your attitude, right? We just talked about it. You get to choose your attitude. E is your effort. And effort is a lot related to where your heart set's at. If your heart is not full of hope, your effort probably is not going to be great. S is your skill set. P is the performance that you actually put out into the world. Think about a person coming into a new job, real estate. They show up, and let's just say they show up and they have an attitude that's pretty good. Okay. So they're going to make some effort. Then they've got to learn some skills, don't they? I mean, if you were training me in real estate right now, I don't have many skills in that. I have the ability to speak and talk and connect and be relatable, but I need some skills. So if I increase my attitude, let's say my attitude came in at a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. And my effort that first day in your office was a 5. Well, 5 times 5 is 25. Suppose my skill set is 1. 5 times 5 times 1 is 25. But because of the way you are the leader of this group, I come in with even an empowered attitude the next day, and I'm a 6. And so I put out an effort. Maybe my effort the next day is 7. All right, 6 times 7 is 42. But you taught me some skills by putting me with other people in your team that is successful and letting them pour into me what they do. And so I've learned maybe a new skill to take home that night. 6, 7 times 42. And now I've got skill level. That's a 2. Man, I just went to, what is that? 84. Well, multiply it out. As your attitude increases, as your effort increases, and as your skills increase, what's going to happen to performance?
Compounds, right?
And I would bet that if you look at your highest producers on your team, attitude, effort, skill, great performance, success is coming their way.
Got great insight, especially for the leader of a real estate team, right, Stephanie? I know your wheels are turning over there. Got great people anyway, and you realize just moving the needle on any one of those categories has a compounding effect, right? The attitude, the effort, and the skill. That's great. Coach, tell us a little bit more about that. I know that you continue to coach on the field. You're a part-time coach at PLU, and you also coach people outside of football, giving them the tools and the frameworks that we've discussed here. Talk to us a little bit about what that looks like to be coached by you.
Well, we go through a 10 to 12 week process, meeting by Zoom or whatever mechanism is available so that we could see each other face to face, or just a telephone call. It doesn't matter. Over those 10 to 12 weeks, we're going to go through an entire process called Choose to Win. That is the best singular program that I have ever encountered in my 73 plus years of life.
Wow.
Anybody can get the book. You can just go right now, go online and buy it. It's called Choose to Win by Tom Ziglar, and read it and then read it again, underline it, outline it. I could show you my book. It's got footnotes everywhere in the margins and so on. It's a simple process that is profound. That's all I can say. It's got to unfold itself for you, though. So that's why we go 10 to 12 weeks, taking a chapter at a time and letting people apply what they've gotten from that chapter, put it into their life. Let's discuss it and let's build on that. And so by the time you get to the end of this book or the end of this process, I really believe you're totally empowered. I'm working with a 31-year-old right now, and he just finished the book, and he's out selling it to as many people as he can right now, all his family, all his friends. His father right now, who has lost his job, is coming up to visit us personally here at our house. And the young man said, "Could you please get my father in this?" Would greatly add to everything in his life that he needs to go out and pursue the next job, because he's certainly got skills and he's got talent, but right now he's on the attitude and effort level, they're less than what they can be. So anyways, that's what we work on for 12 weeks. And then at the end of the 12 weeks, we kind of part ways unless a person wants to retain my position as their coach. And I'm more than glad to coach people. One of the things I was going to mention, and Stephanie, this is important, I think, when you're talking with a person on the phone and they cannot see you, what I do is I draw a heart on a sheet of paper, make the heart, put their name right in the middle of the heart. Take your hand that's not holding the telephone, the other hand, and place it on that diagram of the person's name inside the heart. What that does for you is it reminds you of you're dealing with a person who is designed for accomplishment, they're engineered for success, and they're endowed with seeds of greatness, even if they don't know that, or they're down on their attitude. But you're always speaking into the hearts of people wherever you are. And then there's transactions that we all do every day. Real estate is a transactional business, right? But then as human beings, here's the other game to play. It's called transformation. So in our three-dimensional coaching material, we challenge coaches to go beyond transaction. Don't be a transactional coach. What have you done for me today? If you're not doing anything for me today, sit on the bench, you're out of the game. To become a transformational coach, because transformational coaching leads to legacy, because you're empowering people that will outlive you. And if they truly understand the message, they will share it and give it away, because that really is what significance is. It's about assisting other people to be the best that they can be. So I have a poem. I know we're going to run out of time here, so ask a question, but I want to end with this poem because my favorite football coach, Grant Taft of all times, would end every clinic he gave with this poem called "What is Success?"
Let's hear it, Coach. I love it. This will be a great ending.
Well, success is the way you walk the path of life each day. It's in the little things you do and in the things you say. Success is not in reaching heights of fame that all people want to claim. Success is being pure of heart and clean and broad of mind. Success is being faithful to your friends and to the stranger kind. Success is in the team, the coaches, the family you love and who loves you. Success is having character in everything you do.
Wow.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I think you actually recommend that people memorize that. Is that accurate?
Absolutely.
And that they say that every day.
You can email me. I'll send it to you also if you're interested.
Coach, what's a great way for people to get in contact with you? As they're listening to this, they're like, I want to have more Coach Crace in my life. What does that look like? Is it just your email? Is that the best way to contact you?
The best way to contact me would be George, that's my first name, at cracecoachingconsulting.com.
CraceConsultingCoaching.com. I love it. Coach, I want to thank you so much.
Coaching consulting, right?
So cracecoachingconsulting.com.
There we go. Thank you for the clarification. I love it. Thank you so much, Coach, for not just pouring into my life way back when, but doing it again today. Again, you're one of my dearest friends. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to highlight you and let people know what an impact you've had upon me. So, Stephanie, thank you for your great contribution as well. And to all of our listeners here today, we have one final request, and it is this: go think bigger. Coach, thanks for helping us do that today, my friend.